looks like the tables have turned, like there's a change in the weather. Feels like my time is returning, like I'm about to get out of this cage. If you could see me now, I'd probably let you down, but that's enough for me. You got me begging, baby, change. Nothing's around, far away and I can't hear a sound. I'm lost in the light.
Ella el DJ le pide otra. Está caliente y se le nota. Más tú estás buena en todos lados. Y cuando el dembow azota, te pones bellaquita. Te va todo y no te quita. DJ póngale una más. Perreo es lo que necesita.
DJ póngale una más. Con un perreo ella se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da. No hay nada que tumbe su vuelta. DJ póngale una más. Que con un perreo ella se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da. Y ahora se puso pa' la vuelta.
Lo enrola, lo prende. La nota la enciende. Bailando, lo siente. Reggaeton y solita se luce. Dice que el dembow a lo malo la conduce. Empezó de espalda y de frente la puse. Ella brilla sola, en la disco no hay luces. Y por eso lo enrola, lo prende. La nota la enciende. Bailando, lo siente. DJ póngale una más. Con un perreíto se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da. Y ahora se puso pa' la vuelta. Yeah. DJ póngale una más. Con un perreíto se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da. Y ahora se puso pa' la vuelta. Yeah.
En la calle andamos limpios. Hacer dinero es un vicio. Si quieres esa nalga está auspicio. Ella está soltera, pero si supieran que soy el que se la pone desde el principio. Y se me nota que a mí no dice cuando arrebata. El carro tinteado y tú descapota. Baby, de tu sudor que no queda gota. Enrola, lo prende. La nota la enciende. Bailando, lo siente.
DJ póngale una más. Con un perreíto se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da. Y ahora se puso pa' la vuelta. Yeah.
DJ póngale una más. Que con un perreo ella se suelta. Ella está buena y se le da.
Yo, what up, guys? All right, let's get it going. Give me a sec here. Okay, we live. Welcome, everyone. How we feeling today? All right, let's get into it. Got a couple things for y'all. Don't worry, don't worry. We're going to dive right in today. Okay. So you guys will be able to see my screen here in just a second. Boom. Okay. Now I just want to make sure that the stream quality is good on my side. For whatever reason, it looks like it's dropping some frames, but let's see on your end. Okay, looks good. All right. I'm prepped now to get back to winning. What's up, Brandon? What's up, 8-Figure Trader? We got Joe in here. Gabriel. What's up, PG? Corey. Carlos. What up, T.O.? Updates underway on standard PC. Glad I bought a spare a few weeks ago as per recommendations in a video found on here, I believe. Nice. DJ Mago, what's good? What up? What up? We got Lindsay, Luis, Mateo. Oh, man. That flag is at Sweden, right? What's up, Seth? Puerto Rico. Edgar, what's up? Tradetopia. We live. Amy, Tarantino, ¿qué tal, mi broski? Rosemary, Edwin, All right, welcome everyone. Let me know if you're here locked in with me in the chat. Grateful, guys. Super grateful to be here with all of you. To be locked in here with all y'all. I was looking for a mitigation on Dow earlier, but it actually happened while during London session. So while I was asleep, little mitigation here, and then right back up. So no trade there. And on the other side of things, we have Nasdaq right now looking to overtake some of this liquidity. So that looks very, very interesting. Present. It got into the zone but made liquidity. What zone? What are you talking about? Got into the zone. I didn't have any sells pending on Nasdaq. So not sure. What's up, Ruben? Nasdaq is definitely more bullish than Dow. But they're pretty similar now. So there's a couple things, right? So we'll dive into it. We have a few things to look at here. Let's go and basically narrow down. Let's get structured first and foremost. So welcome everyone. Appreciate you guys already. If you're on the session, hit the like button on this stream. That way we can get more people locked in here with us. Keep growing. Okay, so what are we waiting for now? So yesterday you guys were locked in here with me. You guys that were here, you got to take profit on this trade. So we already did our thing here. And then I was actually waiting for another trade here. This already mitigated. No big deal. Yesterday I was talking about how we could be in store for buys once we take out the New York session low from Monday. So basically the low of the week, and we did see that happen here during Asian session. We get below here on Dow, and Nasdaq is at the same time when we saw it poke down into there. It got really close to kind of getting into our zone, and then we see it dip one more time. So at this moment before London session, we get another push down here. Still don't trigger this idea over here. At this point, I'm not sure if we're going to get into the zone yet or not. I have it here in place. The only way I think we get down into this area is if NASDAQ starts to drop first. So if NASDAQ becomes more bearish than Dow, we might slip into this level. That's the one way that I can feel like we could actually end up playing out of here. So let's organize our understanding of the market right now. So let's get a good grasp on things here. Now, where are we for this week? Now, we're looking at NASDAQ, and these are the highs of the week. So just to get a good perspective on the market so we can understand where can we have liquidity, whether it's higher time frames, lower time frames. So here we have high of the week. Why is this important? We can understand that if there are any sells can be profitable since this range for today's week. Okay, intra-week sells. That's one thing. We have liquidity right here, so equal highs. This already did its thing. Here we have liquidity, so we could either put some dollar signs here, some liquidity. Great. From there, then we see the market work its way down, and then during New York session, we have lows. So this is basically our range for the week with NASDAQ. So we have low of the week and New York low. All right, great. Okay, so here's the range in which we're in. If we zoom out a bit more, we're able to identify that we're still in a pretty narrow window. We're really trading still within just 250 points, basically. Whereas last week, we were in a much bigger range. Last week, our range for the week was about twice the size, about 500 points. Okay, so just something to understand. There's still imbalance over here, but at the moment, it doesn't look like the market really wants to trade lower. This looks like a reaccumulation, and we probably go higher. So, okay. Can we look at natural gas? We definitely can. Definitely can. Guys, we're going to do something awesome this week as well. I'm going to announce it now, and then I'll announce the winner on Friday. I'll announce the winner, on Friday. So to qualify, so there's a little sweepstakes, right? To qualify, we're going to be giving out some free merch. And to qualify, all you have to do is tag Tradetopia on your social media. Let them know. Make sure you guys follow us. And that's basically it. So everyone that tags us, it'll pop up on our feed, and then we'll choose a winner on Friday. So tag Tradetopia. Let them know that we're live. Let them know what's good, what's going on over here. So, okay, we have now marked up what is happening with our range here with NASDAQ. From here, this was Tuesday's, right? Tuesday's Asian session low right there. Yesterday, here's Wednesday's for Wednesday going into London. So we have some awareness here. And I know there's actually indicators, or it's like a tool, just to kind of tell you, hey, here's the high of the session, here's the low of the session. So I'll probably add that so I don't have to do any of this myself. But this will be relatively useful. And then here we have Asian to London lows. So this is what we got going on so far. Yesterday's lows. Great. So this is where we could see that there's, outside of the typical liquidity where it's equal highs, equal lows, we have like liquidity of an entire session. And then comes the bigger, I think what's screaming at you guys, which is screaming at me, is here's a possible buy setup right over here. And how do we know that this is a zone where the market could mitigate, could reverse? It doesn't seem possible to ship to Netherlands. I'll get that figured out for you. Don't worry. It should be able to. Did you check that recently? I got you. Don't worry. So here, what do we see? We see the market take out this low, clearing all of the liquidity from Asian session, the low that I had made earlier, trades into this area, rebalances here, and then the market runs. So clearly there's an intention behind this type of movement. No coincidence that it does something like this. Sweep to the downside, boom, off it goes. So this looks perfect. And this could definitely be a good quality opportunity. Gel, are you ordering a hat or a shirt? Just because that's being shipped from two different places. Let me know. So over here, this is where the good stuff is. And the similar thing could happen here with Dow Jones. So this is a zone that we definitely want to keep in mind. And then there's a second idea here that I can understand why you could look for buys as well. We had some liquidity here. The same move on NQX mitigated something on Dow. Absolutely. So here we see the sweep. If the market actually keeps trading up here, then this might be a play. This is not a qualified setup yet. I just want to clarify this. Esta idea todavía no está calificada. Necesitamos más demanda. So we need more of this first. All right. We want to see the market do this a little bit more before we can look for a position. So I'm not sold on this quite yet. But this is NASDAQ. There's really two key areas here that we're looking for. If we look at Dow, Okay, what did Dow? Dow over here. Dow worked its way lower, went down to a level we had talked about, clearing the low from Monday. So we're looking at a completely different trading environment for Dow. Here we go. What's up, Broly? So to give perspective again, here is Monday's low, which is also low of the week, right? Low of the week / New York low. Okay. Have that there. And then we see, where does the week kick things off? Here's Thursday. And then we gap up to here. Now, Dow is different. Remember, Dow trades higher. It actually goes beyond the open, trades up to here, and then everything drops. So we are definitely trading, like we're seeing a much bigger difference between price action with Dow and Nasdaq. So look at Nasdaq again. For Nasdaq to clear the high, it'd have to get up to here. So we haven't even cleared the highs of the week for NQ yet. And I want to make sure this is actually visible on the hourly. So if you keep your drawings, your charts nice and clean, you can always change how you want things to be visible or not. But yeah, so right now, this is our range with Dow. Dow has a massive amount of imbalance that it can target. We have some key levels where the market can reverse from as well. So if Dow is going to push bullish, if we're going to see a move to the upside, there's a good chance Nasdaq's going to rip as well. Because this Dow having to rebalance up here gives Nasdaq the perfect excuse to just keep pushing higher. And it kind of makes sense. You know, last week we had Dow just have absolutely massive movements. Same with NQ. So where does that take us now? How long do you wait for sideways moving before you consider a setup valid? It kind of depends on the time frame, honestly. So if we're looking at like a 1 minute setup, I want to see kind of like 10, 15 minutes. The longer the better. Okay, so where does this bring us now? We saw here we have the low. We already did our thing here yesterday. The most recent highs that seem very likely to get swept are the ones up here. I wouldn't be selling, personally. We have New York sessions highs here from yesterday. So all of these should be getting taken out. And that could trade up to this range where we have a bit more of an order block. But it looks like we already actually anyways rejected this in the past. When the market came right to here, it looks like it closed off this big buy position by the way that it fell. So this looks like the mitigation of this right there. Maybe it goes higher, but either way, I'm not looking for shorts unless we work our way up into this range, all the way up here. This is where we have actual setups. Otherwise, we have a long way to go. So for Dow, because we have New York open here in 2.5 minutes, Dow Jones gets below the previous low here, starts to trade a little bit higher. You know, during Asian session, indices don't usually have a ton of volume, liquidity. Depending on the right circumstances, you can get, you know, bigger movement. And then just like NASDAQ, we see a dip down and then the market rallied. But look at the difference between Dow and NASDAQ. Dow makes a higher low. So you see this here. NASDAQ makes a lower low, obviously briefly, and then the market rallies. So this is where we may have just seen a switch in price action, where now we just might have a more bullish Dow Jones than we do NASDAQ. So either of these look like great opportunities to me. We see the sell-off here, and then the market just absolutely rip to the upside, identical times. So if I split screen this now and put these side by side, put the pieces together here. I'll talk about the yen futures as well in a second here, because that one's playing out nicely. Right now, if we compare between Dow and NQ, this is basically the setup that we're seeing. So you see the drop here, sweeps the low, and then the market pushes. So what I want to see now, and right now we are less than a minute away from New York Open. I want to see how we work our way back down. So is it going to be Nasdaq? Is it going to be Dow Jones? I mean, it could be S&P 500. S&P, nice little push down. Market continues. So there's a couple different opportunities here for the market. Look at how NQ right now is blasting off, even going even more bullish. So on an absolute rocket ship to the upside right now. This could play out. So this setup that we have going on right now with Nasdaq, this actually could play out. I don't love trading this high, but if the market calls for it, then that is what it is. If right now we immediately come right back down, then this is not valid. So we want to see demand here. But Nasdaq, absolutely on fire. The 1 minute spike on NQ is more aggressive on NQ than MNQ. The spike to the downside? Is that what you're saying? A little bit more, yeah. Got a 9-1 on GCAD. Nice. Well done. So, okay, NQ right now just going on an absolute mission. And like I said, we shouldn't really be that surprised. NQ had a ton of liquidity that it was looking for. So we're already trading way up here, way in this range. This is very different to how Dow is playing out. Right now, NASDAQ is clearing these highs. Look at this. Holy shit. Going after it. If we look at where Dow is trading, right now, this is where NASDAQ's at. Taking up into these highs, while Dow Jones is nowhere near that. We're already trading in last week's price action here. This is from the open. Dow is chilling. It's getting closer to this range. Could we see the market short from here? Definitely possible. Now, here's the high of the week. So I would be interested in shorts on NASDAQ if we cleared the high of the week. And then we maybe saw some sort of shakeout. But considering Dow is moving to the upside way slower, Dow Jones seems to be a decent opportunity. So look at how Dow right now is trading into this area, right? We talked about this here. So maybe Dow could give us a shorting opportunity. So let's reevaluate this zone where Dow spiked up. Here we have it. So Dow over here starts to push higher. Another move to the upside, and then it drops. So right around here, you kind of see it make its move right there. Last push up for New York session, and then it melts away. So when the market comes back to this zone, now here, this kind of taps into the open, drops. Now we're seeing it into the zone. I could understand a short from here, considering that NASDAQ's already trading way up in this range. Because we already tapped into this once, though, right here, this definitely drops the probability of success down because of this right there. So I'm staying out of this trade. I can understand it, but I'd rather kind of wait. If we see Chewy alert, I don't know if that's an entry or an exit. We'll see. Probably up since this is blasting off. But I want to see where NASDAQ goes. Because if NASDAQ takes out the highs of the week right here, then what would be nice, because look at how we're seeing a divergence right now with Dow. Because Dow now, has cleared the highs of the last couple days. So Tuesday's London session gets swept, and New York. So look at how Dow is now doing the classic. Takes out the highs, immediately comes down. So we'll get a really good trade if we break through and we can see lower lows, or if we build up some support, and then we can get a short. But right now, you see how fast we went up and back down. This, to me, it's too quick to go right back up again for me to want to short something like this. Plus, we have already mitigated here. And the reason I get into the market is because we're seeing an exchange of money. That's the number one reason why I ever get into the market. We're seeing money get swapped from buyers to sellers. I want to ride the wave with the big dogs, with the whales. So right now, look at that. We're matching the highs of the week, barely poking above. Not quite enough for me. I would want to see the market really clear, like truly sweep liquidity. So if we are ever going to short something here, for me, it would be with Dow, because it's lagging behind. There you go. So look at how Nasdaq's now taking the highs there, and Dow is still chilling. So that gives me a good sign here. So I do think we could probably look for shorts on Dow. So this is a little bit of a, how would I describe this? Like, if you're going to take a position with Dow, then it's not just one thing we're looking at, right? There's multiple factors that we're considering with something like this. So I do like the short. I think there's a good chance. If you already made a decision, maybe you got in right away after it cleared it. Amazing. Otherwise, obviously, the market's kind of trading back and forth over here. So I am looking to short Dow Jones from where we're at, basically. So the reason I went for shorts here has to do with the fact that we have cleared liquidity over here, the highs of the week. And while that's happening, we are seeing Dow struggle to go up really at all. Now that we've cleared this liquidity, Nasdaq could want to come back down. So if you want a high level confirmation with this, then you would want to see either Dow hold the low here, kind of prove that there really isn't too much demand over here. That would be probably the most effective way of taking a position on Dow. Just let it prove itself. The big thing that we're seeing is the divergence, with Nasdaq trading way over here and still trading higher, while Dow is still kind of holding up the range. So that's a decent example. So the only reason I know, or not that I know, but the only reason I could sense or I could see this not working out is because we already kind of mitigated here. So if this is the mitigation from the buys to the sells, then this definitely brings down the probability for this to succeed. Why I think that this will still drop, and why it's worth some risk, is because of the absolute divergence here. We saw Nasdaq go just insane. Wow. And this clears. This what just pumped what since the open? Like 67 points, while Dow went up like nothing really. Very small amount, like not even 50 points or so. So that's why I could see it. But this is not an A+ setup. If it was, we wouldn't have had it tag into this. And then we would have really had a clean mitigation setup. Right now, instead of this being just a mitigation setup, it's kind of it could be a shakeout setup, and it's really relying on basically Nasdaq not holding up there. So that's the biggest reason. So with a setup like this, when it's not, I would say, perfect conditions, and it's good, not great, either you take less risk, half risk, or you just don't trade it and you just move on for something and you just, wait for a better opportunity. Because at the end of the day, you do have unlimited opportunities through the future. So you never have to force it like, oh no, I have to scramble to take a position or make sure I don't miss anything, that type of environment is what kind of gets you stuck. And that's how you lose when you don't really have to lose. So end of the day here, my whole point is that I want to make sure that we're taking quality risk, the right quantity of risk when doing this. Look at this. We're still pushing higher on NASDAQ, and Dow is still holding up. This is like a cement ceiling is what it feels like. So usually when you see, one indice aggressively moving in one direction and the other not really, usually that is a good sign. Either way, I'm in on this. I did use less risk, so we'll see what happens. Now, where would this go? Right? What's kind of the target here? For me, I think we could see if this does go in our direction, which there's no real one. Obviously, there's nothing's 100%. I would be pretty curious to see just how we rebalance. Like, I would kind of just catch both ideas on this. I would want to see, like, are we gonna just play into the London lows? What's the structure point? Because there's just not a lot over here. Like, this is relatively efficient. Pullbacks, everything looks actually pretty decent, other than the mitigation down here. So I think if this does go to the downside, which it's looking okay, I think I'm gonna just kind of play it by ear, and yeah, we'll see if it does or not. Obviously, it lost some momentum, but now that it's trading even higher, NASDAQ's going even higher. Right now, we have we're seeing it trade up into Thursday's range. Here we got a ton of movement. And this isn't entirely surprising. Look at the amount of imbalance that Dow has over here. Tons of imbalance over here. So Dow might want to just push and go trade up into this range. So definitely do not get caught up in like, oh, my trade has to be right, and then you just start moving your stops and doing all that. Like, don't trip on that. Take the trade. If you like it, take it. If you don't, great. If you have other confirmations and you want to manually exit, not your favorite trade, then definitely do that too. While we have indices here just go ahead and do their thing, I do want to talk about our setup from yesterday. So yesterday we were waiting for yen futures to see if we were going to get a quality opportunity here or not. And the market got close during New York session. It got into this order block. I said I wanted to trade it a little bit under this for a better RR. So once it slipped underneath, that's when I took a position. So I did take this during Asian session, and we're getting a pretty good reversal so far. So I won't say we haven't mitigated quite yet, but we're definitely on our way. So I think we can go a little bit further to the upside. Keep traveling here. Let me know in the chat if you are in this trade as well. Let me know if you guys are taking, if you're in the buy. Let's see in the chat. Right now, technically, I haven't moved my stops. Like, it doesn't technically follow my rule to do that yet, so I haven't. But I mean, I can understand it. This thing is pumped basically the amount. So I would get if you're like, all right, dude, we definitely are seeing reversals. Money came in here. We saw the swap from sellers to buyers. So yeah, I totally understand that. For the yen futures, or this is if you trade currencies, then this would be a USD JPY sell. So for those of you on the CFD side of things, this trade obviously looks a little different. Instead of buying in futures, you are selling USD JPY. And then here's this example. So it came right into here, as was marked up. And then these markups are all in the community too. So I did share these. So if you guys go to Tradetopia trades, we have those right over here. So we sent these out there. You had the setup going right underneath, taking it to the upside. That's for the yen futures. Same thing with USD JPY. We had that right there. And then just still holding it. Also, yesterday, if you were following along with the Mexican peso, we did take profit on this as well. So whether it's USD Mexican or 6M, either or, that did smack TP. So hopefully you guys followed along and you made, you took the trade. So right now, following up with this idea, still sitting in some drawdown. Nasdaq, just way up here. Maybe we see this drop. Dow doesn't seem to be kind of following the same price action fully. So I'm already committed to whatever the outcome can be there. And so we just either let it hit stop loss or maybe it pulls back. Just whatever happens, happens. From here, we're seeing the dollar losing some strength. USD CHF also showing the same signs. USD CAD also showing similar signs. You can see the rejection on this, kind of like the USD JPY with the dollar. From here, we have NZD USD picking up a little bit of momentum. No setups for me on that end. GU left liquidity over here, at least in my opinion. So no ideas for me there. Euro. Sideways movement, more ranging. Still not for me to take any ideas here. And then Australian, same thing. So majors for me are just sideways. I don't have any entries. And that's kind of the plus side when you're trading multiple assets, is you don't have to constantly be kind of forcing a trade or convincing yourself that you see something. You wait for the setup. So I trade setups, not assets really. It just happens to be that currencies give me the most opportunities, the most frequently. But that's kind of the biggest difference. I'm not necessarily looking to have to trade it. People are like, oh, I trade gold and I trade this. It's like, the only reason I trade Dow or Nasdaq is just because that's just what the market gives me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be really taking anything. Now, I just got stopped out here on Dow, by the way. So had a feeling, I had a feeling that this was a bit more vulnerable, which is why I took less risk on this trade. And it looks like we're targeting, instead of the highs of the week, this might just be pushing towards the structure over here that we have, the ATH. So absolutely on a rampage right now. I wouldn't look to do much here unless there's really not much that I would want to target. There's imbalance in here, so maybe we see some reversals at some point. The short over here looks pretty classic for Dow, but otherwise you have a lot of imbalance. So if there is going to be an idea, probably, and you don't want to get caught up just trying to catch a short, trying to catch a reversal, but only after the market takes out these highs over here would I be waiting for a better opportunity on maybe a short on Dow after it clears these order blocks and trade somewhere in here. But only that. I'd say what would have made a better trade for this would have been if we had seen Dow trade lower longer and then looking for the short. I think seeing the divergence, I put too much weight on the divergence. The fact that Nas was so bullish and Dow was just kind of chilling here. I think I took that a little bit too much into consideration, and I shorted a little too early. So ideally, had the trade looked more like this, like how it was doing here, and then kept trading down here, then this would have been a better opportunity. But it didn't give us that much demand on the pullback. So, that's okay. Right now, I have, either way, I'm writing out 6J. So still holding 6J over here. This is the yen futures. We'll see where this goes. For those of you that are following along or that are holding this setup, my exit is up where we have structure over here. I don't know if we're going to get this today. In the past, there has been days where, for example, when we traded out of here, we did approach these levels, but it did just take not just one session, it took two. So, for example, the market started to pump during New York session on Monday, and then once it got to Tuesdays, Monday's Asian session, we got to this level. We started this here during Asian session, so maybe this New York session continues and pushes it forward. Otherwise, at least with the prop firm accounts, this might have to be cut a little short. But with the CFD, with at least my personal CFD accounts and futures, then it's not really a problem. You can just kind of keep holding. The one thing too, though, if you do trade, I'm sure, or if you're starting to trade futures with your own money, remember that the margin, you need more margin if you're going to hold overnight. So if you don't have a lot of margin, or if you're using up basically the most of your margin, swing trading is can get a little tricky there. In 6J, nice. FOMC minutes. What about it? FOMC minutes, in my opinion, is such a scam news event, because this is just a recap of what we get. This is 3 weeks after FOMC, interest rates, press conference, all that good stuff. All of that, this is just a recap of what happened there. So usually this doesn't really do much. In 6J, nice. A little bit late, but we here. What's up, Friso? TP on S&P, nice, Paul. Fire. Yeah, you got y'all. If you're holding a long, you're vibing right now. Yeah, I remember. So last night we were with the syndicate. We were on a session, and I talked about. I was like, yeah, this really, when Dow poked down to here and it broke below the low of the week. So it just made a new low on the week. So just taking out sellers there, or buyers. Right here, this is when Nasdaq still had a higher low. And I was like, oh man, if we can just get down to here, we would just be ready to send this thing. And then once it made this move here during London, and now I was already asleep for this, but this was where everything started to change. So now we're finally approaching these levels. So to give a couple different ideas, this setup is definitely valid now. This dip below here before it rallied, yep, this is valid now. So maybe this is based off of pre-New York Open, but we could definitely have mitigation setups here in the future. We'll wait and see how or if the market works its way down and what this can look like, but we got a decent amount coming there. Okay, let's look at some metals. Majors are basically kind of a dud right now. So let's look at gold. Let's look at some silver. Gold been more bearish. I know you guys were wanting to take buys here. I advised against this. Set up this zone right here. And why? Who can remember? Who can tell me why I said not to buy gold here? Who remembers why? I remember, I'm here. I want y'all to understand, to learn. So if you're just watching, like, if you're just looking, if you're just here to take the same trades, then it's not really helping you get the skill, you know? All right. So the reason was because of silver. Right? We wanted to see silver. I said silver could come into the zone still. So silver was trading much higher. Silver had a lot more imbalance to fill. And guess what it did? Silver came back down. It came and filled this zone. And this was the exact zone that I marked up. Now, I said I wasn't going to trade this, and I didn't trade this. Just because we didn't get a lot of the best structure. We got a 15-minute, and then I said, look, it could reject here. And then if you remember, we can go back to yesterday's stream too. I said there's a chance that it might just reject these order blocks or maybe trade into these imbalances. And the risk reward just isn't really there. So did I start doing the recaps and posting them? No, otherwise you would see them. So here, the market comes back. It looks like it's trading out of here again. I'm obviously not in this. And we're starting to see gold pick up a lot more momentum. So if we start seeing a shift in structure, we might be looking for buys in the near future. Right now, though, chilling. I still have this setup. I'm still waiting on this setup for a silver, for a sell. Looks like we're building up liquidity as well over here. So if we clear these highs, because now we can see silver is moving to the upside slower than gold. Gold's picking up more momentum. So I think we could see silver selling out of here somewhere. And then we can see the market work its way down again. So let me share this here. And then I guess the question really is, well, where? Where is silver going to short from? We have an imbalance up here. There's like an order block that we kind of already tapped into. So I think you either get to see the short out of this range or you see it up in this zone. Best risk reward would be if it breaks up into this zone over here. Trading all the way over here. We have traded here before. There's some key reversal zones here. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if we got above this and traded like an extreme retracement. I'm going to be on the lookout. Something like this on silver. And then where can we take this to? Conservatively, back into where we have all this structure. See, there's been resistance, just kind of in this range. This is a conservative exit. Based on how we work our way down, we could look to go even further, especially considering the liquidity right there. So something like this could be good. So let me go and let me start typing up the recaps. I mean, I do have the setups for you guys. I haven't started recording the ideas yet though. So, okay, here's silver. And then we have July 9th, 2025 Tradetopia trades. And then let's see the image. Save that there too. Okay, this one unpinned. So yeah, good trading yesterday. About a 4.5 R or something like that. All right, so this is pinned. And then if you guys have any setups you want me to look at and you want to drop a chart, just do it right here, and I can take a look at them. All right, that's silver. Gold, maybe we see a setup in the future, but let's let gold keep giving us more data. So what did this do with the crypto just now with this push? Looks like alt's chilling. At least dog is squeezing. Bitcoin pumped up again, took out the highs, took out liquidity, and then dropped. All right. So we stay within the range. We clear these highs. Now it's dropping. What is indices doing then? Okay. So Dow decided to drop after it took us out. Of course, naturally. Okay, so this is kind of and remember, we do not want to, we're never trading to make anything back. The current trade or the next trade has nothing to do with the previous trade. Remember that, right? This is really important. So where are we getting at? This is now what I want to see. We see, so we were just a little too early on the idea, but this takes out the high and then comes crashing down again. Now we're trading down here. We saw the market. This shows us. So right now we're above the high. So this is NQ, above the high from last week. Alt ATHs. Okay, that's where we're at. Okay, now at the same time, what does Dow do? Dow takes the highs from yesterday, this order block here, clears it, plays into where we've seen support before. Cool. Now we're seeing something a little different, because now we really have divergence. Nasdaq still pushing higher, Dow is going lower. Great. This is showing short it because it stopped this. That's not why. We're looking to short this because it's a completely new setup. The market taking out key levels. So we have now cleared all-time highs. Right there. So now that we've done that, what does that do? That gives Nasdaq has now fulfilled its role of, all right, so clears ATH. Okay. So now what I want to see is basically the longer we can hang out here and then see a pullback, the better. But this does open up an opportunity for a short here. Looks like roughly 50 points. And then the question becomes, where can we take this to? That requires more evaluation of these areas. So if we look at the market here, key reversal zones has been basically around 44, 570, 575. Here, seen it happen again. Here is where we had kind of the previous high higher high, higher low, and then the market just pumps, like just goes crazy. So for us to see the market come back to this level would make a lot of sense, coming back down to right around a little over a 3R. May even work its way down to here. So we'll see. We'll kind of just play it by ear. And we can also acknowledge what Nasdaq could be doing, you know, wanting to fill some of this imbalance at a certain capacity. We can also look at how Nasdaq has structure. So, for example, this is a very strong reversal level for NQ in the past, could function as a reversal level for NQ in the present. So sometimes we see the market work its way down, could come back to here and then bounce. So we'll keep these zones in mind for exits. I don't use them for entries, but I do use them for exits when necessary. So right now we're seeing Dow work its way down to here, and it's trading into the basically the New York Open volume. So pumped up, came back down, come back up. So if, for example, the way I look at this, this is a pretty typical break and retest play for retail. All right. So let's see here. Get my orders ready. All right, cool. So goes up, comes back. This is the typical break and retest in my opinion. This is an easy way to lure in more buying orders, and more buying orders coming in here. What happens is that sets up so that when the market does sell off, that there are orders that are going to be on the other side of the trade. So let's see it go through. Basically, I want to see it clear this right there, go into this imbalance, and then from here, see it short. Similar, and we get extra confirmation. We see Bitcoin clear the highs here, work its way down. I think it looks like Bitcoin could also just push a little higher before it wants to keep dropping. So you see the move to the upside. See it lose momentum. Looks like we might rally a little bit longer and then see the drop. So for now, I'm waiting on that. Okay. So what else we got? We got some, I know I was asked to see natural gas. Let me make sure that the contract here is fine. Is this the right setup? Let's see. NG. All right, cool. Yeah, we're in the middle of a contract. Okay, natural gas working its way down and down and down. Ooh, okay. We're approaching the lows from Q4 2024. So we're getting into these levels here, trading below. See the sweep to the downside. Looks like this was a pretty good move. So let's get a little bit more detail over here. Good push down. Cleared out some of the sideways movement. Just kind of breaking into this zone. So here we see a sweep to the downside. The market goes back. Doesn't play into this imbalance though. So here, just to get a little bit more perspective. Here was a big drop. The market pumps from here. Doesn't quite trade back into here though. So we might be seeing natural gas looking to get into this range. So let's use that replay bar right here. Click that. And then you're able to kind of dive in and see more. This way you can zoom into this area and get a really good look at it. So if we go 4 hour, 1 hour, you can start to see it a little bit better. So you see the market sell off, push, come back. There's a little bit of an imbalance here. Would I just take an entry out of here? Not really. Obviously, we see a lot of gaps based off of volume and liquidity and things like that. But over here, we see the sell-off and then the rally before it makes the new high. So you could see some reversals here. I'd say wait a little bit longer. Here where we drop and then go higher, somewhere in here, if we start to see like an accumulation over here, that's when I would probably want to take an idea. So I would want to see a new setup here. So have the market drop down, get to kind of a key zone, a higher time frame key zone, and then we could see, you know, something like this. And then we can kind of ride that out. So that's one option. Here we have the market make a very bullish move before it drops. Here we see it happen again. Another move to the upside before it drops. So there's a couple key areas for short still as well. Have one from like over here that we can zoom in on. And you have another one right over here where we see some momentum pick up before it drops. All right, here's the 5 minute. Okay, right around here. And then this goes sideways actually right up into this moment. Trades up, comes down. The only issue that I see with this is that it comes right back to play out of the push up and then it drops. This could be a setup though, because you have sideways movement, liquidity buildup, drops, and then so as long as we kind of stay bearish, this could be an idea on natural gas. So this would be the first zone to think of. Right around here. Natural gas. All right. So NGQ. All right, free. So I'll check out your idea here in a sec. Natural gas. And then let me get you a visual. I'm also taking a look at Dow here in a second too. Looks like it's approaching. Let's take a look at this. So, all right, going back to Dow. This is the 1 minute. So we saw it pull back, play at a support. So we have buyers luring in. This is exactly what we wanted to see, was more money, kind of, you know, like it moved sideways. Clearly, when the market comes up to here, it wasn't for the reason to make higher highs. The market doesn't really want to trade up here for very long. So right now, we're starting to see some of this right now. So if Dow trades into here, and especially if NQ makes basically another high, while Dow is making a lower high, that can really qualify a trade like this. All right. Meanwhile, USD/JPY, yen futures doing their thing, pushing along nicely. Very nice. Okay. So, really now we kind of just wait. Wait it out here. Okay, natural gas. Got the chart there. Let's look at some oil. Oil here recently picking up some steam. Slowly but surely trading higher and higher. We saw it work its way down to here. Mitigate this. Off it went. If we look at the 15-minute here, check it out. This basically functions as a sell-off. When it gaps down to here, the market goes back up. This basically does the break and retest. This is and then just rips. So after it looks like it's going to keep selling off, lures in the buyers and just runs. So could see this as a reversal zone, especially because not only did we see it sell off, gap down, but now the market's been trading sideways. It's been trading. There's been demand up here. So we might be in for an oil buy. And especially when we start to zoom out, an oil buy could, if it gives us this pullback, it might not, but if it does, ooh, look at all of this imbalance. This is one of those setups where the market can reward you. Depending on how it happens, what volatility is backing it, whether you can hold for long or a short amount of time, this could be a big move. Let me switch on over here to Dow. Looks like we're starting to climb up again. So I want to see if we end up coming back up to here and then shorting. And then what does that look like with Nasdaq as well? Starting to see Dow lure in buyers. When it goes up to this puts this builds more momentum for buyers. So, you see buy stops trigger, you see more orders open, and then basically once there's the max amount of buyers, that's when we can see the market push to the downside. Okay, so yeah, oil looking to trade into at least these previous levels of support, some key reversal zones. This can be really, really valuable. It could even trade up into these zones, etc. I wouldn't really need to push it too much further. I think this is more than enough. This could give, this would be over a 7 point. This is a 7.64 RR. So CLQ oil here is looking clean. And then we got, let me get the image here. All right, save. Let's look at this trade. So free sale, you're looking at USD CHF. Nice little spike down, move to the upside. Okay. Let's check it out. Dollar doing its thing. Losing that momentum. So with USD CHF, here was the low. Here's where it gets to. USD CHF does go below by a little under a pip is how much it pokes below here. At that point, it's about understanding or making a decision on whether that's clearing liquidity or not. I totally understand your take on this. So you see the sweep. So you see a big sell-off before the market pushes to the upside. And then we haven't gotten back to this to mitigate it. So I can totally get that. What we'll do is we'll look at futures. So we'll look at 6S, Swiss franc futures here. And we can see if this gives us any better or worse clarity. So if I'm not mistaken, and I can split screen this so we can basically see it. This is the same time frames. So this is where the market drops, and this is where the market pops. So same ideas, right? Right there. You got sell zone. Cool. With Swiss franc futures, here we go. So this is the previous low. Here were the highs. This clearly takes those out. Looks very clean to me. And then it makes its move. So to look for sells, I like it. I like the short. Yeah. I like the short on 6S, the shorting Swiss franc futures, once it works its way up to here, which would function as a buy with USD CHF. Then, now you want to ask yourself, okay, so where? Where in the zone do I want to take a position? Looking at this, a key reversal zone that looks valuable to me is right here. So if we look at, we can kind of pinpoint reversals around here, reversals around here. So I like a short basically at this zone. I'd be looking at something like this. Tighten this up. Stop right there. And then exit wise, you have a couple places. To manage the trade, obviously this thing pumps up to here. So we see it push like this. I would want to see a reversal of the same amount. So you got like 25 there. So something like that. I see it drop, in a similar fashion. To move break even. And then in regards to taking profit, if this is going to be a huge imbalance, so it just kind of depends on how we get there. Might be looking to exit down here in this area into structure, all that good stuff, like just trading into this zone. And that could be 3.5 arc, give or take. USD CHF. You have similar areas of reversals. Kind of here, 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 here. It's kind of in this range overall. So you have a little bit of both. Really similar setups. And this is also an order block, it looks like. So somewhere in here, it looks good. RR might be a little different. on CFDs. Looks like you would need a bigger stop, but something like that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes higher, but something like this looks solid. So here is the trade. So to go off of what you're saying, basically, agreed. I think we almost have identical setups. I actually totally forgot where you had it. Yeah, pretty close. Basically, pretty close. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So we have 6S/USDCHF. And then to get a little image of this, get a little here. All right, saved. Good job. Thumbs up. Sick. Okay, now quick updates on indices. Dow still moving sideways, so this gives better and better confirmation for a possible short with Dow. Same thing here. We see NQ clears the highs. So just to give a recap, the push to the upside, that last pump was what cleared the highs. And then right now we're seeing the slowdown. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Let me double check. I don't know if more charts were sent in here. Looks like it's just free set today. Okay. Nice. But good chart, man. We went over energy, exotics. I know we were going to follow up with, so let me go to one screen here. And then wanted to look at, what the Mexican peso was doing. And because we've been shorting this again and again and again, so I'm actually going to just look at the Mexican peso futures. But we've been shorting this consistently. And now that we're trading above here and the market is showing us demand at these levels, this is giving me more and more confirmation for let's see here. That's too small. It's still too small, I think, to trade in this range. So we have some key things within this. I'll go to the 15. I think that might be a little easier to see. And yeah, we're getting the proof now. Looks like indices decided to drop before getting us in. Sadly. It sucks. Looks like this was the shakeout for NQ. Right here, NQ lures in buyers on the break. Retest lures them in one more time. Dow didn't really give us the satisfaction of that, and then it's shorted. So it looks like it happened just before we can get in there, unfortunately. We didn't get the big move up, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of continuation happens here. Maybe we do get a trade later, maybe not. Okay. All right. So to move forward here, what I wanted to see to qualify this setup, we did end up seeing. Now, I like the Mexican peso buy again, the futures buy, which would be selling on USD MXN for CFDs. Those are they're flipped. But there's two ideas. One, we get a rejection out of the order block, and the other, we just get into the imbalance. So I just split my risk. So half my risk goes into this entry, half my risk goes into this. I'll do this when I have kind of when we don't have a smooth imbalance and we just have like an order block in the middle, sometimes it'll play off of it in reverse. Sometimes it'll bounce, go down again, and then make the move. So these are these types of examples. And then based on the way that the market is trading, the exits are still relatively conservative, maybe even a little bit lower. We'll have a final say on what the exit will look like once we start to actually work our way down here. But for now, yeah, this is pretty textbook. All right, so let me go ahead, edit this, add to the list. 6M. What's that alert? NQ. Okay, NQ playing out of this. So if I was in a short, then look at the timing. The TP would have been there, and then it came right into where we had structure before. Ooh, just blasted through that. Said, nah, fuck that. Wow. Epic. Would have loved to be in this, but whatever. It is what it is. Now, if you are suddenly feeling like, oh no, like, could have been me, blah, 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 don't worry. There will be other trades. I mean, for all we know, we could get a buy-in over here. Nas is definitely lagging behind. I don't really buy in the middle of imbalances, so right now I'm not looking to do anything. Some people might. Some people might be looking at, oh, look, there's resistance over here in the past. Could act as support. Maybe the market reverses from here. I get it, but it's not my trade. That's just not how I trade. Anyone short? Anyone get in this? You had your own system, you had your own rules, gave you the green light. Man, I got to say, back in the day, I remember getting absolutely overwhelmed trying to understand the charts, but Smart Money made it easy once it clicked. Yeah, it's like it's a little bit harder until it's easier. Is this gold? Which one? Natural gas. It's brief, but the speed at which it came crushing made me curious. Nice. Thanks for looking at it. For sure. Jur just took some profit, 80% on Nas. Nice. Well done. Melted. 6M round 3. For sure. I'm waiting for the Dow buy zone of the 1st of July. Free sale. Close full position on Nas now. Well done. Good job, Mateo. That's what's up. And I think that's a great exit. In the imbalance, playing out of previous levels of structure, you're seeing, Dow kind of playing where we had this higher low. Cool. I think we go lower probably. There's definitely a big difference, right? We haven't gotten to this like 8 a.m. drop anywhere near it. Dow is way below. Dow played into London session. So I don't think we're done dropping. So we will definitely see. I'll give an update later on too on indices and see what's in store for us there. What was I doing? Here we go. What's this? Sweet. Didn't I have more images here? Or am I tripping here? I swear we had more images here. Well, whatever. Sweet. I think, honestly, that's about it for me. I don't really... Yeah, I mean, that kind of covers it all. Crypto doing its thing. We talked about how the market was going to short soon I wasn't able to get in there. Remember? We said, hey, we're going to trade right out of this. And then that's exactly what we did. Sold right off. Yeah, there were some signs that it was going to happen. I just wanted us to get the exact entry. So, unfortunately, Dow didn't give us the last push up to get triggered in, and it decided to drop from there. Oh, the other thing that we had, there was an alert that I didn't go over, which was Chewy. We got the dog stocks. The dog stocks over here. So these are now playing into a good zone for me. Huge sell-off before the market pumped. So this is where I'm going to start dollar cost averaging in on Chewy. Could we go down lower? Yes. There's definitely chances. But I'm down to ride this out. So this isn't, I'm not trading this with leverage. I'm just adding. Cool. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up there. If I have anything else, I'll drop a recap video I'll share with you guys. I'll post it on my YouTube. And I have finished the how to transition from CFDs to futures. So super excited for you guys to see that. Should be uploaded on Saturday. But yep. Thank you guys for plugging in as usual. If you enjoyed the session, if you learned something, if you made some money, if you feel like you're progressing, then feel free to share in the community. Let us know your wins, your lessons for today. If you want to join the free community, it's pinned at the top of the chat. If you guys want to rock our merch, check out our website, tradetopia.store. And then if you want to join us in Colombia in September, then feel free to check that out as well. If you have any questions, let us know. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Peace out, fam.